Hey guys, welcome back to another recap. This time it is for round 2 of Botez Chess Camp. I played against Linda Diaz. This is my second game in my Return to Classical Chess arc, and I honestly felt quite confident about it. Not because I was higher rated, but my friend said that she played the Sicilian because he read on her Wikipedia page that she has a nickname, the Tank, for playing the Sicilian defense as black. So I spent an hour after my nap before the game looking over Sicilian lines. Well, there was no point in doing any of that preparation anyways because I played e4 and Linda instantly responded with pawn to c6, which is the Caro Kann and not any of the Sicilian openings that I was promised she would play. So thanks, friend. Anyways, after d4, d5, e5, c5, I take. This is all pretty, normal theory. I'm not super familiar with this opening, but I also figured that given the time that I had on the clock, I didn't need to overcomplicate this. So I played bishop b5, very logical. My opponent is threatening to capture either the c-pawn or the e-pawn, so bishop b5 pins the knight, and she can no longer capture. After knight to e7, I play knight to f3, once again developing and defending all in one, and she plays knight to f5. So after knight to f5, obviously I'm a little worried about knight takes e3, and if knight takes e3, then my bishop that is protecting the c5 pawn is gone. So if she took it, she would get her pawn back. And I am greedy. I love pawns, so I play b4, protecting my c5 pawn. Now after knight takes e3, f takes e3, I am still hanging on to my extra pawn, but I do have two sets of double pawns, which means that my pawn structure is a little bit ugly, and hence the eval bar does not think I have a significant advantage despite being up this pawn. She plays a6, and I play bishop to a4, and after bishop to a4, she plays g6. I think g6 might be a tad slow. I respect her decision to try to move her bishop to g7 in order to capture the e5 pawn, but in this position, Grandmaster Ben Feingold told me I had the wonderful move c4.
But before black gets castled, that's why the engine wants to play c4 here and try to open up the center while black is still very passive.
During the game, I saw c4, thought about it, and was like, no, my king is still in the center of the board. I should probably play this safe. So I didn't play c4, and instead I played, castles. c4 would have been really good. The idea, obviously, is that I'm threatening d5 pawn. If she takes, now I have knight b to d2, and I will take back on c4. My knight will be protecting the e5 pawn. And also, I'll be able to jump to d6. So c4 is definitely the move I should have played, and if I was a sharper and better player, I would have played c4. Alas, I am but a retired, washed woman grandmaster, so instead I play castling. Now, after bishop g7, I play c4, which is a little late, because after castles, bishop takes d7, she actually has bishop takes d7 here, and now if I go for e takes d5, e takes d5, queen to d5 is actually not great because she can play bishop to b5, for example. My queen and my rook are under attack, so I gotta do something about it. If I play, for example, rook to d1, after queen takes d5, rook to d5, I have none of my pieces developed. She has paired bishops, and while I am up a pawn, right now, bishop to c6, rook to d4, bishop takes f3, pawn takes f3, I am going to lose an exchange. So this is not a pretty position for me. Linda, however, missed bishop takes d7 and instead played queen takes d7, which is a massive mistake.
So bishop takes is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she's playing queen takes.
Because after c takes d5, e takes d5, I have knight to c3. Now, it's going to be very hard for her to defend this d5 pawn. For example, if she goes rook to d8, I can simply play queen to d4, stopping this pawn from ever being able to push up, defending my e5 pawn, and also I'm ready to move my rook over to d1, attacking the d5 pawn even more right next move. So she plays queen e6, deciding to sacrifice a pawn, and after queen takes d5, I am up 2 whole pawns. The Botezes are filming an ad read out there, but thankfully the yard, it's okay! Well, anyways, after queen to g4, I thought that here I should try to trade off queens, because if she ever plays queen takes d4, pawn takes, I have a massive center with my 2 extra pawns and should be easily winning in this endgame. So she plays bishop to e6, and I don't want to trade off the queen here because I still have this weak e-pawn. So instead, I play h3, kicking her queen away, or making her decide whether or not she wants to move it away or take my queen. And after queen to h5, I play rook to d1. Here, Linda spent a lot of time on her next move. She plays rook a to d8. During the 20 minutes that she spent on this move, I did indeed think about queen takes d8. However, during the game, Linda only had 17 minutes left on the clock at this time, and I had 33 minutes, and you don't get 30 extra minutes until move 40. So with 20 moves to go, I feel like my chances were pretty good not having to overcomplicate this position and just keeping things really chill, really simple with queen to e4. The interesting line after queen to d8, obviously, is she has to capture. I get 2 rooks for the queen. Linda has 1 move, bishop f8, and then I was calculating knight to e4, threatening this fork. So here, after king to g7, I thought that maybe knight f to g5, I can potentially win a bishop because this bishop will be unprotected. I did calculate queen to e2. However, I don't think I really thought about knight takes e6 with the check, followed by rook to d7. When I was calculating, I only saw rook to f8, which is still winning, but this is, this is a lot to calculate in a game of chess. And once again, I didn't need to do any of this. I thought in my head, I can play queen e4 and surely I will be winning. And I was right. So after bishop to h6, I park my rook on d6, and this is a wonderful square to get your rook. Rook takes d6, I will get a passed pawn with e takes d6 and undoubles my pawns. So after bishop to c8, I play knight to e5, after king to h8. King to h2 actually threatens to win the queen with g4, so I was really just testing Linda and her defensive skills at this point. After bishop to g7, after f5, obviously en passant is forced, and then queen to f5, I play queen to d4 because now her king is so exposed that there's no reason for me to simplify this position and go into an endgame. Absolutely none at all. This is way too winning for me. So here she decides to play rook takes d6. I play pawn takes d6, queen to e6, e4, queen takes d6. I push e5 up and move the queen over to h4, attacking the bishop, giving up my knight. But this bishop is way more important because I am threatening checkmate 2 ways. So she's forced to play rook f7, after which I play rook to e1, simply defending this pawn so my knight is free to go do whatever it wants. And after b5, I play knight to g5. She's threatening mate at 1, but I take her rook with a check. And after rook to d1, it is forced mate in 3, and Linda resigns.
How are you guys feeling? If you want to give a little recap of what went down.
Well, I am a little tired of losing, is how I'm feeling. But the game was really fun.
I think it was a really interesting game because as a 2200 player, I'm supposed to win on paper. And I think the game was very instructive in showing how one does that. So Linda,
No, I think it's
it was kind of, I got a slight advantage out of the opening. Linda made one mistake with queen takes d7 and playing bishop takes d7. And I think the game from there just kind of went
totally downhill.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
Anything to say about who you guys are playing against tomorrow?
I'm playing Alexandra. I actually looked online. We have played 172 games just online.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that's not counting all of our over the board games. We have 1 game of Classical Chess back in 2012. Yeah, 2012. It's been 12 years. And she beat me when I was 12 years old. She was 16 or whatever. So, anyways, I'll be coming back for revenge this time. Yes. After 12 years, it's like a 12-year grudge match.
Also, Alex posted a recent Instagram story of some beads in quotation marks. What are your guys' opinion on that?
Well, honestly, I just want to say we should probably tighten up the security around the house.
Classical chess, not my favorite format. However, I am very relieved that I won my second game in Botez Chess Camp. Let me know what you thought of this recap in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up as well as subscribe And also, thank you guys so much for all of the good wishes for the tournament.